Right, it's all in life. Gotta keep your head up and keep it straight. No time for living a lie. Gotta keep it moving till you get it right. That's right, it's all in life. Gotta keep your head up and keep it straight. No time to be living a lie. You can make it if you try. No, I heard them say life much better you live it your own way.
Greetings and welcome to Context Matters. The date is April 23rd. It's a Thursday, 2026, and we will be talking about finding the balance and the body camera debate. In the body camera debate, wear versus don't wear. Now, this is coming from statements made by the Minister of National Security and Peace. He has taken a position, a firm position at that. And what he has said in essence is that, and to start the conversation, I'll just see how best I can set the context. So he has basically said, listen, the JCF has no intention police will not wear body cameras when confronting gunmen. Full stop. You can take from that what you will, but certainly let me go further. The statement that he has said in what I'd say in a nutshell is this thing that you must wear a camera when you going to look for a man who has a M16 that's firing 60 rounds per second is a crazy idea. You can't send an officer in there with a marked car with lights blaring. They're gone. So you send a special squad in there. They're at risk. They will be killed if they are not careful and they can't go with cameras. Cameras make them a target. Now, let's deal with it. Somebody say, hold on. Somebody say, you think it take boy for combat against rifle shot? We don't have no time for camera. That's coming from Austin Powell. No relation to Austin Powers. It is a sensitive topic. Now, here's something that I just want to share. You see, I'm making a plea because, as again, the minister says it's a crazy idea. Police will not wear body cameras when confronting gunmen. That's what is said. Now, if you look on the monitor, let me see if I can pull up the monitor. You will notice that if the police won't wear it, all I will say to you is you can wear your body camera. Amazon is the place. It is 2026. Technology, although we are in a third world country and a lot of things. Let me tell you, there was a time just this year where gas was cheaper than water. You may tend to find that somebody said, all is fair in love and war. So if you like Bridgerton, Jamaica soap opera has become like a soap opera. So maybe Lady Whistledown has the answer to it. But again, the plea is that body-worn cameras is worn at a particular stage. So here is me setting the stage and saying this. The body camera is an independent voice that speaks for everyone. That's where I'm going with it. Just hear me out. If every police station is equipped with enough cameras so that when special operations is going on, um, then it acts as an independent voice. It will prove to have justification versus weeding out the bad. So here's what I know. The Jamaica Constabulary Force have some of the highest form of integrity embedded in its officers. So if you want to say majority, I'm starting from the proposition, and this is from my experience and interaction. And I can go as far as saying majority of Jamaicans are honest, hardworking, God-fearing people. Jamaica is a Christian society. The police officers, young men and young women who set out to be police officers, start off with the greatest amount of intention to protect and serve and to hold the Constitution in high regard. This is a belief, and in interaction, let me tell you something, a lot of them are respectful even in the face of disrespect. A lot of them have set out to make Jamaica a better place in a high crime society. A lot of them are forced to protect themselves against miscreants and persons who intend, hell-bent on making Jamaica a place of high crime, violence, and just pure, utter rubbish. So if you understand that, you would appreciate that in all walks of society, there is persons who are exceptions to the rules. There is no issue, whether one wants to debate or not, that there are members who have fallen through the crack and entered the noble institution that is the JCF, that is causing the men and women of the JCF to be given a bad name. Now, I can only say, in light of that, I hope this beep don't continue, the beep decides that it wants to continue today. I can only say in light of that, that we are to pretty much find the balance or strike the balance. If we understand that, then we know and we appreciate that the persons, members of the JCF, who take evasive actions in self-defense of themselves and others, including, where justified, anticipatory self-defense, i.e. Beckford and the Queen, case law all the way to the Privy Council, spoke about this last week, then the body cam would act as a basis to justify the conduct and action. No, because there is unrefuted evidence that there have been cases where extrajudicial killings is in fact murder, ruled by the Office of the Director of Public Prosecution that particular officers are to be charged. Majority of the time when those decisions are taken, there is video evidence from either Jamaica Eye or private cameras that would have captured footage of assassinations by the police. There is a case that is quickly becoming a high-profile case where it is alleged that an officer has in fact been hired as an assassin and have murdered 3 individuals in separate incidents. And so, and that is something that we need to know. Kevin is saying, I'm loud and clear on Reggae Global Radio. So for all the persons who are on the flagship station, Reggae Global Radio, that has messaged me and saying, and have said to me that you're not hearing me or something is wrong, I'm loud and clear today, no excuses. If you're joining me from Best FM 100 and you're commuting home, traffic rough in a Kingston because rain did a fall, just tune in and type your comments where you can. Don't drink don't drive and type. And if you're driving and you have front camera and the other camera to make sure, say, if the taxi man them are going up, you have the evidence so the insurance company don't try to say that are you wrong in the event of an accident. So cameras, I can tell you, is definitely can be used for the benefit of the public. Public interest is the pitch I'm using for body-worn cameras. Now, I want persons to know and understand that the sensitivity of the topic. Let me tell you something. This week alone, let's start with Sunday. So, Mary J. Blige has a song called 7 Day. And she said, Monday, ring love on Tuesday. No, that sounds like Craig David. But 7 days, the things that happen in 7 days is exactly what we're talking about. So on Sunday in Barham District, Westmoreland, hear me out now, Dirk Dunkley was born 1988, which makes him a 37-year-old man. He is a father, and he was a former worker at a call center, IBEX. He relocated to Westmoreland as it was closer. He's from St. Catherine, and was attempting to get employment in the Montego Bay, that corridor, Westmoreland, Montego Bay. Call centers are in those parishes, and that's where his work experience is coming from at 37. Well, in Barham District, Westmoreland, an unmarked vehicle pull up, run them down and full them up with bullets. I'm saying them because there was another man. On the news, they were saying that the man in question was wanted, and he opened fire and shot. When the family of Dirk Dunkley, because a lot of times what you're going to tend to find is that there are persons who them really not have no strong family ties, you know. And if you follow, if I could say it in ways, but maybe Broadcasting Commission may have a problem if I say it a particular way. And we are on Best FM 100, so we're regulated by Broadcasting Commission. But I want people to understand, say, you see this rich and poor situation, it's real. The way how persons process information and situation is wholly dependent on whether you are from uptown and downtown, or if you're in the know and you're not in the know. So they thought that Dirk Dunkley never have no family and never come from nowhere. But let me tell you something about Dunkley's family. Dunkley have some of the most successful, progressive family members, including himself. Ambition is nothing short from the Dunkley family and both mother and father side. And to say that his family are doing very well in the United States, even, let me not reveal too much about the family, but to say that when the family who is of means inquire about the son and grandson and brother family, there is a feeling and a sense that, you know, there was probably a misconception that he was a miscreant, because what was then put out in the media following inquiries in relation to his death is that he was an alleged hitman. So remember, you know, in the absence of the body cam and the Jamaica Eye and the other things, the operation, and there's a in the JCF there's something called a pressing. So it's the rules of conduct, basically, pre-op, post-op. So the JCF don't just go out there, special operations, and they're briefed. And so one of the briefing is that the young men, a part of the JCF, go out there with knowledge, whether the knowledge is accurate or not, to go and do a particular thing. It's by instruction. So if the instruction and the intelligence is misguided, then wrong identity mistaken identity, and wrong situation ethics will apply. What then you will find is that, remember, life is something given to us without knowing we are to receive it. If this is true and you believe it and people accept that this is so, then we don't have a do-over. This is not a video game. This is not TikTok. This is not social media. This is real life. And very recently, a lot of the conduct that happened in the last 2 weeks clearly is a social media mentality that doesn't translate into the real. It's not workable in the real world, and a lot of people mistake what happens on social media with what happens in the real world, and this is what we're talking about. So the response, in my mind, respectfully, by the minister is wholly inadequate. It's completely disappointing, and to say that the position he's taking is in defense of the JCF, but the defending that he's defending is the institution and not persons who have detracted or is using the benefit of a noble institution to carry out nefarious activities that has to be protected until otherwise. And there are persons who there are other persons who fall victim to that, because let me tell you something, just in case people misinterpret and decide to cut and paste in this conversation. Let me tell you something, man. There are members of the Jamaica Constabulary Force that I will and would and continue to trust with my entire life and existence in terms of safety. And there are many other persons in Jamaica who feel that way. When you start to have other persons who corrupt that perception and that feeling from a set of persons who otherwise are respectful and are carrying out their duties like they're supposed to, it creates mistrust and it leaves people to deal with self-help mechanisms. One of the self-help mechanisms I'm telling you about now is, if you look to my chest, civilian body cams. I am going to say that since government has decided, for whatever reason, whether it would be national security interests. Let me pause, because Robert Reed says, I want to ask one question. Has human rights lawyers with the recent killing of the two brothers and others who have been killed unlawful? So my question is, you as a representative rights, I don't, you have to wheel and come again. I have a lot of interpretation skills. That was not a question that I could decipher. Just hear me out. I'm starting with Sunday. We don't go nowhere else yet. Self-help mechanisms means that you may very well can go to a tech store here in Jamaica. You may go on Amazon and you buy the body cam. The body cams are uploaded to the iCloud. So in the event that you are executed and they think they can pop off the camera, the live feed is already going to the iCloud and your family members will have access to it. Because since the JCF fails to, by instruction, because a young man might say, boy, I want a body cam for go out there because me no want when me shoot my gun, Madam DPP, I go say she go shoot me, because I can tell, I don't get to Portland yet, but I can tell you, the worst thing is to be in a rock and a hard place. So the position of the minister is to protect the young men and women in the JCF. The problem is the state are servants of the people. The state in its entirety, every single police officer when they're in the uniform, are creatures of the Constitution. So are members of parliament, ministers, prime minister, even the DPP, the office of the DPP under Section 94, judges, all persons that work in government are creatures of the Constitution, and you're secondary to the rights of the people, except where it's demonstrably justifiable in a free and democratic society. You're not to breach, abridge, abrogate, take away, pop down, water down, minimize the rights of the people, the citizen of Jamaica, no matter how you feel about them. There is a thought. I know how people feel about poor people. I know how people feel about Rasta people. I know people feel about, I can add it up, a big nose Rasta man, 2-time convict. How dare you want to be a lawyer and a member of parliament and now come and telling the minister of security and peace how to run the country. Go and go sit down with your human rights foolishness. So you make the constitution, make it can trick the people them and turn lawyer, and you exercise your right because your head big. That's why you come here, come go on like say you're brighter than the rest of it. Go ahead. That's how people feel. But the very constitution, the prospective constitution, the charter that is for us by us, don't bother feel says England gave us our charter. It's the government of Jamaica, the Parliament of Jamaica in 2011. They sat down together and they said we're going to give rights. And then the judges that sit from the Chief Justice and the President of the Court of Appeal and all of the judges interpret this prospective living, breathing document to make sure that the rights, a shift in human rights, far superior to the UN Charter, if you ask me. And so while all right is not absolute, less restrictive measures is always the way to go. So we have evolved, and I think the more things change, the more it remains the same, because there used to be a Dread Act. There used to be the Coral Gardens massacre. Happy to see that Rastafarians are getting land now. But the police did do them bad. You know, there have been situations, and I mean, one of the unforgivable thing that happened to Jamaica is the Tivoli excursion. And at that time, the value of somebody's life was far less than property rights coming out of the Tivoli excursion. Well, I just want to say to you, and I'm taking the opportunity, right with me now is my Samsung 360. Now this camera is a handheld camera, and it gives 360 view. It's not a drone, but I can tell you that when you have this camera, 360 panoramic view of everything that's happening is captured. So with me holding this camera, I can see every corner, every crevice of this room. I always have it with me. It's almost like a Bible. Now, why this is important is persons can say the wrong things and persons can lie. Again, the camera is very inexpensive. You probably can get it for $19.99. These days, maybe even cheaper. It is the storage component that is important. If they don't wear it, right? If they don't wear it, you are to wear it. Especially, there are young men now in fear of their lives because people vindictively have called them name, whether it be because of political expediency, because of links, and because of the ability to trick the system. And these men are being hunted and ultimately in line and on a list to be executed in the name of economic viability. What do I mean by economic viability? Well, the Minister of National Security in his sectorial presentation at page 25 speaks about human capital losses. Well, let me just remind the public about something. Human capital is the most important form of capital. Capitalizing on the human capital in any country is the response of production and economic viability. The most important commodity, even more than oil, even more than anything in Jamaica, is the human being, the Jamaican, the human. So when you hear choose Jamaica, we're not talking about white sand beaches and none such cave and none such falls and Boston Beach and Blue Lagoon and Blue Hole in a Ochi and YS Falls in a St. Elizabeth, or if me I say it right, and you think Blue Mountain Peak and all of these things. No. Or a compound. We're talking about the human being, the Jamaican. See me here? Jamaican, born and raised. And the potential of that human being. And what I mean is we're simply talking about the people. Somebody said, "Duppy in my house painting." No, the camera do that. The picture I watch you. Anyway, we're talking about that, and it is significant that we're talking about the human capital because it has value. The economies across the world, they measure economics by human capital. In fact, in the United States, the birth certificate is what they value their dollar on. They just a birth certificate. Your credit score when you're 18, you can go floss as you turn 18. Credit turn up till you mash it up in 6 months. So we haven't gotten there in Jamaica, but one thing I can tell you is the human potential. I don't want to insert myself into the conversation, but to say to be the black sheep of your family and also one of the finest in your family is an anomaly that is a part of the culture of Jamaica. A woman may have 9 children and one of them don't like read and write, but him know for paint and him become Picasso of Jamaica. He may not like school very much, but when him focus on running, he may be Bolt. He may not want to do nothing but smoke weed, but when him take up him guitar, he may become Bob Marley. The God-given talent and the lived human experience forms a part of the capital, the human capital. Well, don't think that the statements made by the Minister of National Security was made carelessly. The government has a duty to make Jamaica better, and in doing so, they only see economics. But a government that marches along and excludes the people, especially the least among us, especially poor people, especially young people, especially old people, especially people who can't help themselves but notwithstanding their constitutional rights remain the same, is a failing government. I'm putting that out because I'm trying to bring home the point to you that capitalizing on the human capital, every government has considered that. And if you have become casualties of the economical gains and warfare, you, like King Herod, who wanted to remain king and decided that he was going to terminate all of the males to make sure he never had competition. Or when Pharaoh was mad at Moses and him said, kill all firstborn and end up losing son. It's a contemplation in all societies, and this is something that I want people to understand and appreciate. Why am I going there? Page 25 of the sectoral presentation of 2026 of the Honorable Dr. Horace Chang, OJCD MP, Deputy Prime Minister and Minister of National Security and Peace, has his vision for creating a new ecosystem, building peace and offering hope. And to do so, he measures human capital losses. And he says that it amounts to 1.33% of the GDP. He has given it value. So reflecting reduced economic productivity due to homicides, non-lethal victimization, and incarceration. It is well understood. You will have two bright, brilliant human beings who have all their future ahead of them and find themselves before the court, and the economic fallout that comes for having two bright black men incarcerated for even a week is unbelievable and undeniable to the potential. Right? Now work with me. The authorities, your government, they estimate that each life lost represents not only a human tragedy. The tragedy only falls in the 9-day wonder. Somebody mother is going to cry, and somebody baby mother, and somebody family children cry for fathers, sisters and brothers cry for brothers, vice versa. That is a 9-day wonder in the human tragedy, and it may fall less than 9 days because I was on Sunday and I haven't gotten to Monday. So Sunday is for Dirk Dunkley. Well, there is an economic loss of approximately US 147,000, right? So the life of a Jamaican when lost through non-lethal victimization, incarceration, or homicide is 147,000 US dollars. You hear me? Your life, the Jamaican life, is valued to the government at 147,000 US dollars. Now go back to the Tivoli excursion. People were getting $250,000. God bless those who even got 500,000, notwithstanding that it was 2010. The value of the life is completely different to what the government knows what it is. They say 147,000 US dollars. Now juxtapose that with the people who can floss. Yeah? And you realize that the Jamaican life valued by the Jamaican government, so it's very low. So what they did is they consider the life saved between 2017 and 2025. The economic benefits range from US 360 million, to over $740 million. So you see, when they were doing the state of emergency, they knew that if every dollar that them spend while state of emergency was going on, they gained at least US $44 or $90 for every dollar. So while they were locking you up, they were making money by locking you up because the international community was giving them the funds and they were able to do so. Social experiment. A failed one stopped by constitutional challenge. Everton Douglas case is one that will tell you how that went and why the 2020 election was called. But now that we know the value, yes, 147,000 US dollars, it means then that the investment, the non-lethal, the homicide, victimization, and incarceration, it's cheaper for the government to take out people that they say have no value. Every person executed by the police, even if the police don't know, because I say police officers act on briefing, their seniors tell them what to do. Them here say, bad man out there with M16s, high-powered weapons, protect yourself. Don't wear no body camera because you going there to kill. They leave the station on the operation to go and assassinate somebody. That is a hard pill to swallow. But if the interpretation of what the minister has said is any different, then I invite him at any point to give clarity to the Jamaican people as to that aspect of it. Because what the minister has said is, listen, We not go out on no operation and wear no body camera. If a dirt, and I hit that. And Indicom can do what them have to do. We are gonna take up the spent shells them. Even if the spent shells is 650, 550, 450, Smiley are gonna take up the spent shells them, and then Indicom won't have nothing to investigate. Right? That is really what was said. Now, here is another reality. You see? They're asking even police officers, who I'm sure must take issue. They're asking them to support what I'm going to submit to you is madness. They're actually asking even the police officers to do that. And it also leaves a perception, because we know having the public feeling like all police officers are killers and as such criminals. That's a sad way to be. It's a sad reality. What I will say is that if you follow the logic behind the statement made by the security minister, we will not wear body cameras when confronting gunmen. Well, the question is then, how would you know when you're going to get involved with gunmen? Because if it's not a planned thing, if there's not a debriefing, if things weren't said to the police officers to anticipate self-defense, to go into communities and go into person's house in the nighttime when them in there with them woman. So then Dawn, as I told you, was in his house with his woman, and they told his woman to step outside, and then he was murdered. That's not you weren't defending yourself. You had full control and authority of the situation. The two brothers that were killed in St. Anne, and a colleague, my colleague, Dr. Russell, was constrained to put out a statement and a press release to say that the information is so inaccurate and an entire community left traumatized. What trauma we talking about? The post-traumatic slave experience when the government enters and execute citizens. You will never know when you're next. And the community said that is not so. So that was for St. Anne. But then I leave Parliament and hear breaking news because men were executed in Portland. But guess what? And then people are going to cuss me and say, but Achu, you are the MP for Portland. How do you differentiate between when the police is actually doing their work and when the police is not doing their work? Because I will submit that the situation that took place in Portland was self-defense by the police. Then them going to say, is that how you know? Well, I don't want to sound like Horace trying to say, well, I know the police them and them wouldn't go up there and do what them doing, and how Portland is situated where no violence, no death. So if bad man come in and out of port man come in and importees come in and the police them who don't even want to fire them gun find themselves firing them gun is a different situation. But no one nobody call me hypocrite. Had body cameras been worn, I would have been in a position to say, you see the police officers in Portland Eastern at the Port Antonio Police Station and the Mansion Hill Police Station and Sansan and Castle Police Station. Yes, these police officers are not going out executing and them wasn't doing no operation. The police themselves, yeah, are traumatized by the experience because them here were going out in a big Jamaica, not in rural Jamaica. So when we hear certain things happening in the mountains of St. Anne in a Barham district in a Westmoreland, no. We not accept that respectfully. And in the absence of the body cameras, it's going to be an active debate and human rights persons. And then people are going to say the human rights silent because so many murders. The murders happen so much from Sunday to Sunday. A human life, $147,000 discarded per day, except them not on the list that the international community is excited to give money to the government for fighting crime. So the executions are art, and somebody can say if it's not. But you have it here, the statistics tells you what is the loss of the human capital and the value of a life in Jamaica. The economic loss is $147,000. So that means that the young man who was a former employee of IBEX, Mr. Dirk Dunkley, the country has lost $147,000 because his life had value to it. If the learned minister, the goodly minister, is saying that the men who are executed, their lives have no value, it becomes problematic. Discrimination in its highest form. And remember, the police can't do what the criminals are doing and we sanction it. Cannot be allowed to happen. Cannot be accepted. It is not something they worried about the picture in the background. So if you're on TikTok, the filter have the picture moving, and them said dopey in the house, but it must be a dopey because no gunman there around me. Just know that. Anyway, it also means that the human rights community has to respond in a way that is not combative. Because as I said, this entire conversation is in defense of the Jamaica Constabulary Force. And I'm talking about the human capacity, the human capital of the Jamaican Constabulary Force. The men and women who have integrity, probity, honesty, and internal locus of control. Because not everybody you can get to keep up the umpy-scumpy behavior. Yeah? And so incentives to bring harm to the citizens of this country is unacceptable. And I take this opportunity at 4:43 to say whoever that person was, an investigation on TikTok should be launched because a money prohibited weapon was launched as a gift on here. And I asked my moderators to identify who that person is so we can report them to the proper authorities, as a pink prohibited weapon was used on TikTok, and electronic social devices should warrant a 15-year minimum. Although the minister said we are going to Parliament, will have legislation reviewing the toy guns. But until then, somebody please identify the person of the prohibited electronic pink device that was shooting money just now, so that we can properly report them to the police station and we have the matter brought before the court. And if the file is brought on time, they can apply for bail and be here for context matters next week at this time. Anyway, moving from that. So we do appreciate and understand that this issue is a live issue. And I'm going to repeat it because I may not be the proper person in authority to be speaking on this. I may not be, but what I can speak on is to say, people, my Jamaican family, youths of Jamaica, as a spokesperson on youth, it's difficult to tell you to protect your life when there's a mandate to destroy it. And if you dress the wrong way on a given day, you may not make it home to your family. You know, there was a case, and I'm not going to call the young man's name, but he is a brilliant young man, a mason who could build an entire house. And he was going to buy material, and he's driving along Constant Spring Road, and the officer just decides say him need to get a promotion and just stop him and say you break the light. They gave body cameras to traffic officers. And the young man said, I didn't break the light. And the police said, what you feel like? And let me tell you something. The police officer is telling him to get out the car, and he called me and had the phone on video phone. The police officer gave him a thump, you see. I said, me no know how him jaw never broke. Some people just born to take a thump. Thump him, drape him up, and yank him out of the car. Put him car on a record. $50,000 in the car, and them all take that and lock him up, you know. And I said to the officer, I said, brother, me see what you doing now. Me don't know what going on in your life, but you have the opportunity now to use restorative justice mechanism. Apologize to the young man and don't bring any charges. The man said, oh, my superior said, charge him and make the lawyer boy go work that out. So I said, all right, I'm sorry for you, because you see, as a proper professional hush lawyer, idiot lawyer, public defender kind of lean boot boy lawyer with me be, the man just decides we're going to go to court. And it's petty. It's a traffic ticket, How did a traffic offense turn into the type of violence meted out against the young man? Of course, I went into the court, right in a JP court, Justice of the Peace, 3 of them, and I make my privy council application and said, this matter is going to England, Hear them, but I mean, I have nothing to do with this, so they better transfer this upstairs as one judge, this bigger than me, and then transfer it to big court. I request the body cam footage, which was available. On the footage, you see the police, just like I told you, give him a good, the thumb go, wukum-kum. I saw it, wukum-kum. It's a move like, you see it, wukum-kum. Yeah, one of them there, shift your whole face. And the officer stopped coming to court. Anyway, the judge ultimately dismissed the matter and a lawsuit is pending. You know why I'm stopped cover court? Him go up a appeal and I do traffic stop. Stop a squaddy when in a uniform and shoot the man. But just to make you know. And is put on interdiction and now have court case. And you know who's gonna pay the nice fees that I'm telling you about? The taxpayers. Taxpayers. So when we talk about intervention, when we talk about the purpose of the body cam, we know what it is. But fret not thyself, because whenever the police officers, when Madam DPP reviews the file and decide that they are going to have to charge the police, I promise you, young police officer, me I talk to you right now, I promise you, the powers that be and your superiors are going to have to separate themselves from you. You are going to be a miscreant that ought not to have been a part of the JCF, and you're going to be put on interdiction and dismissed, discarded, and your $147,000 with the value of your life as a future DSP and SP and all of the thing them and the strike them want to get, I gonna be right down a GP. See, lay down on ground. Yeah? Just know that. And prisoners not bread or rose. I'm flabbergasted at how Jack Ure, the author of the song, could not appreciate that. But that's another conversation. Somebody said ICE will hire them. And then I have no chilling or no chill whatsoever. Just appreciate that the conversation we're talking about is value and protection of life. Every single life, it matters. Context matters. One of the important aspects of this conversation is that children live what they learn. I want people to understand that. It means that there's something that is happening in our environment. War in the east, war in the west, war down on Hamas, war the Strait of Hamas. The war is just everywhere. So if as adults we fail to contain ourselves, what will happen to children? Children who become exposed and excited, excitable, impressionable, hearing conversations and positions taken by leaders. And are we sending the right message? Is the message the right message being sent? And what of the innocent man? What do we say about him? What is it? Is it an apology? Because you see, if you feel the way you feel about the people that we're speaking of, in the court of law, due process is the safety mechanism for persons. There's criticism that the justice system is not operating, but I disagree. The justice system, in fact, is a working system. It is being improved from time to time. It is operating with constitutional safeguards. The new bail legislation has caused persons not to languish in prison by the hands of police officers, reviewed by judges, and just know that the purpose of bail is so that persons can show up to court. That's the purpose of bail. And in the absence of that, where there's failure to deploy safety mechanisms to ensure that takes place, i.e. reporting conditions, then that's the only time bail is not offered to people, regardless of the crime that you commit. And some persons oftentimes are not appreciative of that. So let me tell you one of the things that happened now, because I spoke of Dirk Dunkley. There were persons around that saw the assassination of Dirk Dunkley. Now I heard the minister say, listen, people happy for snitch. Happy for them just get information for free. And them no want no money from the helpline. The question is, it's so hard to get money from the solidarity program. You don't even know if they can get money from the hotline readily, like how people talk. But also, is there a helpline in place for when extrajudicial killings take place? Is the government saying when the police misbehave, there is money for you to get? Call and report and become a witness? Because I can tell you, there's a high profile case going on right now, and everybody there on internet are talk about the facts as them know it. Some of them don't even look like them. Them don't even look like them. They are stoplight and beg $5, much less can get in a hype party. Some on the boot lean and never dead, but on the internet I look at money and I look at hype. So me just I go say, because of that, what we are trying to do in terms of citizen policing, community policing, protecting your community. When things happen, you have to talk up the things. And this lack of wearing body cameras and this creating, bridging the gap, the divide, the distrust with police. Me want to be able to call the police and say this a go on and that a go on, and know say the police now go betray the trust. But that is a far cry in circumstances where the very police will disappoint you and you're afraid. But in relation to this, yeah, the picture twitching because enough things are going. Picture no one get a rokum. Anyway, just appreciate that. Having said that these are some of the things that we have to think about. If we are in a position to process this thing and, calling on the government to revisit, all I'm saying is maybe all police officers don't need to wear body cam. But if you're going on special operations, that is the time when you want to wear the body cameras, and that the station or responsible station and superior officer will want to equip the young men and women of the JCF with the body cams. And in the absence of that, I'm closing out this hour to say that people, family members, maybe it's time to cut down on the vicissitudes of life, and finding that cameras remotely operated is a necessity. Hidden ones is me. I am forced to walk up and down with my body camera because now I take no chance with nobody. And sometimes you get extra, and you get your other camera, 360 camera, and you make sure, say, you protect yourself, because Jamaica is a high crime society. One of the hallmarks and identifiers of a high crime society is when the citizens have to create ingenuity, different ways to protect themselves, because the police can't do it for them. If you understand that and appreciate that, then somebody would get to the place where they understand what it is that we're fighting for. And if we put everything I'm saying in context, then we also get to a place where the context in which I'm bringing the argument. I am simply saying, protect our police officers, put them in the space of justification, because the criteria is demonstrably justifiable in a free and democratic society, and where less restrictive measures ought to have been deployed. It is the burden on the state to prove that they could not have used less restrictive measures, and they were forced to respond the way that they did. And nothing changed. The case law of Beckford and the Queen made it absolutely clear. Beckford was debriefed by the police that the sister of the deceased made a report that he was in the house roughing up the mother. And when the man was fleeing, Beckford anticipatory self-defense, shoot him. And the Privy Council said that's self-defense because it's the honest belief, Gladstone Williams. The response that they say is proportionate to the threat is what is important. And then somebody said FLA should make it easier for citizens to have guns. I'm making the conversations about citizens not killing people because the value of human life is $147,000 US. You know how much people now go hold that one time in them entire life? You know how much people? But I digress. I will say to people that we must think of a way to strike the balance on the body cam debate, not being excessive, not being an alarmist. I'm simply advocating because there are police officers that are before the court now and their lives are in the balance because of decisions made at a snap. And they'll be forced to defend themselves like everybody else and go through due process and cloaked in the presumption of innocence and put on interdiction by the very force that is encouraging them to do whatever. But we are at the top of the hour. I'm gonna do the break right now. If you're on Reggae Global Radio, if you're on Best FM 100, see you in 5 minutes. All right.
Right, it's all in life. Gotta keep your head up and keep it straight. No time for living a lie. Gotta keep it moving till you get it right. That's right, it's all in life. Gotta keep your head up and keep it straight. No time to be living a lie. You can make it if you try. No, I heard them say life much better you live it your own way.
Now, I turn to the aspect of I will call it cost to taxpayers. So we must pass laws that will minimize taxpayers being called upon to foot the bill for waste, corruption, and lack of accountability resulting from the accountability gap that is present in this legislation. For example, there is in the schedule resignation of the CEO as well as revocation of appointment by the Prime Minister. It is a feature that promotes political pageantry. If in the event, and I will address secrecy versus indemnity, but if in the event the CEO does something untoward and at the end of it, it's wasting taxpayers' money, all the Prime Minister has to do is to revoke his CEOship. Simple. Just say you're no longer the CEO, and the Prime Minister would have pretty much says, I've done my duty, the person was a miscreant, and don't include me. Just simply fire him, and we would have, the Parliament would have said, okay, we did our work. Can't be that way. That is an example. So that in and of itself has to be revisited in terms of how we deal with it. And here's it. In actual, there is an accountability gap. So if you look at 5.5, it says that the chief executive officer, he creates people who he hires, and he's paying them, and it has salary cap, similar to that in the government work. When it comes to Section 71, the minister appoints his committee, and they are able to get remuneration. It also says honorarium, salary, or fees, and such allowances. I would simply say that this section is circumventing the salary scheme, and as it is not subjected to Section 5. I'm just simply saying it's similar to Section 5. I'm just saying similar to Section 5.5. It says subject to Section 5, the chief executive officer shall be employed. I'm saying in the absence of that at Section 7.2, you can see there is a gap. It is simply an accountability gap. The salaries has no cap under Section 7.2. It has absolutely none.
It's all in life. Gotta keep your head up and keep it straight. No time for living a lie. Gotta keep it moving till you get it right. That's right. It's all in life. Gotta keep your head up and keep it straight. No time to be living a lie. You can make it if you try. No, I heard them say life much better you live it your own way.
SFM 100. We are back. Walk on as well. And if you are on the YouTube, Walking in Divine Purpose is telling me that we are to speak about two things. She's showing you where you can get the body cameras, as well as speaking about the tablet drive. So we do have a tablet drive that's happening right now as we speak for the children of Portland Eastern. We are trying to achieve literally 3,750. It has been decreasing because there are many persons. I want to say thank you to everybody that has donated. We have partnered with Geotech, who has said that every two tablets purchased through the tablet drive is just what it just costs $100. And once you do that, that's two tablets that goes in. So it means that if you buy the tablets directly from Geotech or through this tablet drive for the purpose of filling the 3,750 tablets for the children of Portland Eastern, we reduce the deficit. Similarly, using the GoFundMe link found on Instagram or through the GoFundMe or the Zelle contact Zamba with that, we will be able to purchase a tablet so that by back to school, we do all the distribution for the children who go to school in Portland Eastern. Last year, we were able to give away a similar amount, 3,500 and plus tablets thereabout, and we want to complete so that the next year the deficit will be so small that we will be just replacing for some persons, upgrading, and they will be in the technological phase. That's for the children of Portland Eastern who are going to school from primary to high school. That's the aim, that's the goal. It'll help us to reach our mission. Now, going back to the issue at hand, we were saying finding the balance in the body camera debate, wear versus don't wear. We know what the Minister of National Security and Peace, we know his position. My counter position is for having what we call a voice for all. Let me say it properly. The body cam is an independent voice that speaks to everyone. So it is for the public interest, it is for the police officer, and it is for the person who is unalived by the interaction. As I said, issues took place with the brothers who died in St. Anne. Similarly, other persons were gunned down Monday. Other persons were gunned down Tuesday. Other persons were gunned down Wednesday. People will be gunned down tonight. People will be gunned down tomorrow, because this is the way in which reductions of murder takes place in Jamaica. Extrajudicial killings runs parallel with homicide in Jamaica. That is the position currently, which is a position that will mean that loss of life, loss of human capital, and the value estimated $147,000 US. A lot of that is being thrown around in terms of wasted by unaliving. We must think about that. But also, an interesting thing that is happening right now is a revision of the child diversion legislation. And I just want to use this opportunity to speak about several issues, including how traditional high schools are thought about and regular high schools, and how people feel about poor people picnic and expectations for rich people picnic and all of that. Now, hear me. Issues that took place: Seafort in St. Thomas and Jamaica College in on Hope Road. Now, All of the issues that took place, I'm going to humbly submit to the audience that these are matters for child diversion. Child diversion is the mechanism and the tool used to ensure that we curb behavior when children become in conflict with the law. Now, a juvenile record is sealed but remains active in the world at large. If the child diversion is in keeping with Lord Reed in Sweet and Parsley. Lord Reed, out of the House of Lords, would have said that we are not in the business of turning ordinary citizens into criminals, let alone turning juveniles, young persons who are still developing in their brain. That development ends in Jamaica at 29. So you can appreciate that at 12, which is the age of criminal responsibility, up to 17, which is where the child diversion has jurisdiction, that the developmental levels is at different ages, and Gillick competence is a psychological investigation that is used to see when children understand what is happening. But an appreciation of what's happening doesn't mean that the comprehension goes with it in its entirety. So decisions that young people make in the moment cannot be held at the same level as when people are adults. Now, you must understand that when young people are finding justice, it means that there's a gap in the communication between being able to rely on the elderly people to get justice. So let's start with JC. And this is a conversation that don't include the parents and the adults, just see children for what they are. I have always maintained children are children. So whether it's the JCF, whether it's principal, whether it's coaches, whether it's other children, whether it's big people, children are children. And if we fail to see them as that, many things will happen. And let me start with why I've always advocated for revealing the sexual offenses registry. Because it is people that fail to see children as children that find themselves enticed to have sex with children, persons under the age of 16. Yeah, I'm starting there. So you have adults that can look on a child and say, yes, she grow big. Yeah, and women too say him grow big, or whatever sexual deviant it is that look on a child and say, but them big. Recently, there were organizations that was offended, and rightly so, that persons were parading the children at boys and girls champs and kind of zeroing in on how mature they were. And they're going to do it at pen relays, and they're going to do it at the Gibson, and they're going to do it at the track meets, and they forget that children are children. Some of these children may not be aware of their bodies and have not even unlocked the sexual awareness that comes with being children, that comes with puberty as well, and are in the investigative stage of their lives, that being misguided so quickly can be problematic. I'm bringing this up in the context of child diversion. So maybe what I should do is take off the body cam right now before anybody thinks I'm encouraging recording of child diversion activities. Anyway, that being said, that's just one form of adults not appreciating when children are children, no matter how physically mature they are. the mental aspect of it can never be dismissed. In fact, it is almost impossible for an adult with minimal intelligence interacting with a child who is force ripe and not see that they are a child. For instance, I don't know if you are from my era and if you are listening to Anita Baker and somebody's talking about Britney Spears, chances are that gap will tell you is a child. Right now, if you can't, Taylor Swift is not even the mark again for who a child is. Not let alone Beyonce and Rihanna. A big woman them they know. Me so old me don't know who the child star is right now. So if you and the child are listening to the same music, something wrong. Anyway, saying that to say that appreciating that children should always be treated as children means that when they interface, become in conflict with the law. If you're on a disciplinary panel at school, you have to do so with compassion and empathy and understanding that the environment that some of these children are coming from may be a cry for misbehavior. For instance, a child that come out and feel like they can take off their belt and beat another child is experiencing domestic violence in places where they possibly have witnessed the father beating the mother, them and everybody. It may be an exposure to how to deal with it. But one of the thing about the best interest of the child and the need to protect our children is the innocence that we're protecting, At all stages, children must feel like they're children. That is why in Jamaica, we retain the uniform system. And some teachers go as far out to say, listen, there's a required shoes because we don't want other children to feel wholly inadequate because the family is poor. In fact, when it says it takes a village to raise a child, the right village understands that no matter what it is, the experience at school is supposed to be one where children, when they become adults, could have said, I didn't realize that my parents were poor until I graduated. I turned 18 and realized that I thought the world was built of straw and built by my mother. Now I know it's built by the narrow legislation where the Prime Minister is attempting to circumvent everything in Jamaica so that he and his friends build and have no accountability where that is concerned. Right now, their children, them not think narrow. Them just want to go up on the campaign trail, jump up and down and ring a bell and march on to progress and all of these things. That's all they want to do right now because their minds aren't developed, so they don't know the seriousness of what they're getting into. They don't understand social contracts that you can be discarded after your value. There are people who have been abused and neglected from they were children, and it has become a way of life, right? Yeah, man, force ripe is a real thing, and we must understand that. Now, having said that, now we're talking about the children. This is not an adult conversation. This is talking about how to treat with conduct of children. Yesterday in the Child Diversion Committee, the JCF and the Minister of National Security, they were making their presentation. They are absolutely against making possession of a firearm simpliciter, child diversion, an offense that can be used in child diversion, even knowing the fact that children can be used and abused by adults to participate in, if you want to call it gangs, if you want to call it entourage. These days, gangs go around and say they're entourage and they carry guns and they go in parties and the entourage stay in the corner and lock the gun and then them rough up people and box up people and kick up people, and them have license gun, illegal gun, and then the entourage. So we're an entourage, we're not a gang, we're not a part of that legislation, so it can't be us and they not like us, and hey, where's Drake? Take a box here and there. Yeah, we understand all of that. But sometimes children can be a part of that. And to hold them to the same standard can be problematic, because child diversion is you want to divert them from the entourage lifestyle. I don't know if you saw the JC video. It was an entourage in the bathroom against one young man. Albeit them saying him thief and him take with things and all of that, but they were holding court and they were adjudicating, and they sentence after a plea and failure to make restitution, and they gave lashings. Now, if you're a parent and you say, I should have my picnic and me would have done a GP right now, the DPP wouldn't even have to convict me because what me would have do? Well, pause right there. Because if it's your picnic on the other end, is you going to be begging for leniency. But children are children. So guess what? As the spokespersons for youth and human rights, I hear conversations about expelling and suspending and all of that. That is counterproductive to the level of diversion that you want to have for such a noble institution. And are we protecting the institution, or are we trying to ensure that the young men who get to run up and down and say them bleed blue to strip a young man of that opportunity because they were somehow unsupervised? And are we having conversations about the purpose of the dean of discipline and the type of supervision that takes place? Because I find it's very disturbing that during school sessions, it means that your child can be in a bathroom, unattended, unaccounted for extended periods of time. That's a different conversation. So the conversation ought to be shifted from policies and procedures rather than punishment of children who are being children. Because let me tell you something. If the video they never come out, we wouldn't even hear about it. And now that videos come out, one wonders what else go on in bathroom, that nothing go on in bathroom, and how bathrooms are secluded that these things can happen and nobody don't know about it if it wasn't video. These are the questions that we're supposed to have, because we're supposed to be protecting the innocence of children. And we are competing against social media. We're competing against bullying in the physical sense and cyberbullying. The video was an attempt to cyberbully somebody, and they didn't have the competence to know the repercussions of the same and conduct in the day. Because let me tell you something, the national attention that came from that video, it took me back to the days of school. Because anybody who did a go school in the 90s, me can tell you, if you never did a blow up the sun, if you never did a take $10 and say go buy box juice, bun and cheese and patty and cocoa bread and bring back $8 change. And if you never did get your chest buff or buff chest when you get older and a part of the sorority lifestyle, the initiation and culture of a particular school, the type of initiation is the word. What used to happen, and where are the metalwork teachers and the woodwork teachers that when you run the complaint to them say, you're too soft, man. And one of those who had the fathers where, oh, if you ever try buff my chest, me tell my father and your day is done. What you feel like? These things were, somebody said big up Meadowbrook. Well, all I'm saying, these things were a part of the culture. I don't think it has changed. I think what social media has done is to highlight situations where schools become embarrassed and then fail to solve the problem in ways that it otherwise usually be solved. When I was going to Meadowbrook High School, you could have be big and bad and tell people for blow out the sun and buff chest and all of that. But when Dr. Marissa come, everybody run. No matter how bad it was, everybody did afraid of Dr. Morris. That was the principal of the high school, and she was a female. I'm just making you know. The matriarch of the school when I was going there. Everybody did free. Whether you're dunce or you're bright, you was going to get it right. That is the type of things that we need to get back to. Right? So, me just putting that out to say we need to reconsider, because guess what? We are being excitable about that. But what was the response of the relevant authorities when a youth lick another youth with a chair and the youth dead? And persons were calling for the execution of the young man. I don't know the young man, but I can tell you, it's child diversion on the table for what is clearly no intention by chair. And I put a question to the members of the national security and the JCF. And I said, what is different when it comes to weapon of choice? Knife, chair, big stone, pen, scissors, and it results in death, versus possession simplicity where nothing happened but the minimum mandatory applies, and the disenfranchisement and the destruction of a life that never even started. The destruction of a life when the mind was not developed as yet. And I'm bringing this out, because as we spoke about the JC situation, and I'm going to give kudos to the Minister of Education. She makes something absolutely clear, and you have to give respect where respect is due. She said, listen, and not just downtown people misbehaving, uptown picnic have problems too. So we have to understand what life is, and we can't be selective, because while that happened at JC, which by the measure of violence in this society was not minimizing anything, it should not have happened at all. But having this happening, what are the measures that are put in place so students can correct behavior? People can correct behavior which follows them in life. Because if you can box up people and feel empowered to do so, you're going to be a woman beater. You're going to take cheer like a former member of parliament and beat a girl, and then you're going to just marry her and everything go away. Because the messages that young people are learning in this society is coming from the top. The things we allow is that exactly what it is, learned behavior. So we behave like when the young man take up a chair and decide, say, I'm going to lick somebody with the chair. A member of parliament took up a chair and beat a woman who he married, and it was okay. So where's the crucifixion of a child who don't know better and live what he learned? Well, let's go down a St. Thomas Pond now, because nobody can cross it. Only he who understands it cross it. What could make you so mad that you unalive somebody? It started in the school, and the school big, and you go on a bus park, and you're this and you're that, and the testosterone level gone so high, and the toxic masculinity. May I use all of the terms that people use? And it comes physicality, because the same, so them go on X and them go on TikTok, and then come in, you come in at the comments and you beat up people and thump them up and you carry them on, and when you're ready, you defeat them on TikTok, you use money prohibited weapon devices till you're wicked to shoot people. And then they don't know the difference between the real world and the internet world, where people internet bad and keyboard bad. Can you imagine you're on video, you be bad and you tell people to go brush them teeth because Colgate cheap? Is there any crest? and all kind of thing, and you muster people on internet and you call them all kind of things, cyberbullying, and you can call them everything from sexual indiscretions to body shaming to colorism to, I mean, the amount of time me and the Prime Minister then say we know is big. The amount of time body shaming with good notes. Yeah? Just using that as an example. But saying it is one thing, because sticks and stones will break your bones, but words will never hurt you. Yeah? But if Jerry Springer or Murray was here, they would say that is a lie. Words hurt so much that people have to come off of social media and continue their disagreements in real life. And here it is, children don't understand the magnitude of being hurt by words and respond physically. And when the cooling off period ends, that is, the provocation period has ended. Yeah? Lives destroyed. Lack of understanding. Diminished responsibility executed. Wake up to a different reality. 15-year-olds, 16, 17, and prepared to have you before your lives, before you get to pay your first water bill or your light bill, and go up in the supermarket and find out say the $5,000 where them a try to pay you. Can't buy the food where you want to eat for you or your baby mother where you get. And realize that life's so hard that I better you did just stay a child and not worry. I better you did go on a university and then tell Child Care and Protective Service, say, Mommy no want to pay the school fee, lock her up, because the law has gotten there. And remaining a child, a youth, as long as possible, so you get the benefit of transitioning into adulthood, which is so hard. I don't know how much I own on this live that's an adult right now, and life a beat we bad. How do we go from the opposition leader saying yes, it's cheaper than water, to where I hear say, oh, we have to go in a lockdown measures and we have to go back to COVID days, work from home, because we not on a gas, because we not on a money, because we take the whole light by school bus and the school bus then broke down already. What we are going to do? Oh my God, but oil in the water, so I'm now about to retire, me I come back, oil there, they want to get liquid like that. Get the point that we have to strike the balance. We have to find a way to protect our youth. They are watching. They are just as excited in the social media nonsense. They want to be a part of it. I don't know, but when I was growing up, if I watch Mission Impossible, Tom Cruise jump off of one building, me want to jump off of the building too. When Superman fly, me want to fly too. Not to mention when me lickle, and them have kickers a Carib. For the first 2 days when we go back to school, because it's Saturday and Sunday you go to Carib, the teacher, Karachi, see it? Oh no. And the teacher, you have to say, chaka teeth, boy, stop mine. Come in and say, hey miss, you want what? Every day, I have to make sure my mouth move after the words. Because everything is sip on the big screen, me want to do it too. So what you expose young people to they're going to act up. And so, having said that, deal with children as they are. We must then transcend into a robust child diversion legislation that ensures that when children, Thundercats, Lionel wouldn't work well in modern society, because every time he took up the sword of omen to summon the Thundercats, he had to say ho. The only person who got away with that was Santa Claus, who said it twice. Anyway, Now, if we appreciate this, my plea to Jamaica is protecting the future of Jamaica so that 147,000 US dollars, the society can capitalize on it, and that it's not snuffed out because we are creating profiles for young adults who, by the time they're 18 and 19, they're gunned down because no one wears body cams and them feel that them a man and they're aggressive. It's not limited to the Jamaican reality, you know. In first world countries, black men, if they show aggression, they're oftentimes executed and they're seen as barbaric. So the civilized man is a man who doesn't raise his voice. The civilized man is a man who controls his temper, even in the face of insults and disrespect and abuse, even in the face of breaches of human rights, even in the face of provocation. And the law is unapologetic. These days, when one is provoked and it is proven that provocation was real, there's still mechanisms to ensure that sentences are excessive beyond, assuming you accept it. But I just have to share my thoughts where these things are concerned, because many things are going on in the society all at once that appears to be distractions. And so, coupled with thoughts and opinions by many persons, appreciating those people who are giving me gift right now, knowing that the gifts are going to facilitate the purchasing of tablets for young people in Portland Eastern. That's a genuine mission. So there are at least 30 to 35% of young fathers are still unemployed in Jamaica and need jobs. But you see, that's the thing. When people go into unemployment and they stay home for too long, you hear say strange face they around the place, and then they meet and come and execute. That is what the reality is that a lack of productivity is reminiscent of vagrancy laws post-slavery. And the reality of it is that you know, there's no excuse for not having ambition in the Jamaican society. I want to put that out to say that young people, especially young people, you might not have graduated with all the subjects that you need, but there are avenues to keep doing what you're doing. And we need to have the conversations and we need to encourage. But we are so good at feeling better about ourselves by putting people down that we discard people. Even sometimes the education system discard people, because imagine you're in a school and you study and you take a little pep and you want to go JC and them send you go to one school where according to them it not no name. You just broke your vibes and you just say, I don't want to learn no more. Because you haven't developed the internal locus of control. And then when you're at a school where the teachers don't even want to teach at that school, because every day them put out resume for go at the high school. Because we don't have teachers like back in the days when I have some teacher, I tell you, me did have teacher where when she come in with her cat jaw, she happy for come to school because she gonna sell you the nerds and everything for make you get rotten teeth. But she teach you. And you didn't know, say, when you read Escape to the Last Man Speak, you know already that go on and your imagination remain intact. And if your sugar run out, miss have the nerds. And anyway, let me leave that alone. So we have gone far from the days because we got asphyxiated with titles and the need to have these letters behind our names, even when the letters are useless. Context Matters was developed because it was evident that even persons with degrees graduated from a university lacked critical thinking skills, because there was a time when swatting became an art form. The ability for us to regurgitate information without understanding it is what is decaying the moral fabric of our society. So much so that the drafting of legislation from our parliament has become an exercise where, if we aren't vigilant, we have legislation that is rubber stamped without proper consideration. And there will be persons who will be angry at me for taking the time to critically assess anything before me, because I am a part of it. And with the greatest amount of respect, it is to try to raise the bar so that as a nation, people can have confidence that the legislation that comes out of our parliament works for the people, even if the people don't like it. When the people we're talking about is regulating conduct, so a lot of the things that takes place is done with respect for each other, because we have to coexist. That is my thought. But it happens at all levels. And so when we're swatting and when we're becoming lazy and not thinking about the future, and the future is the very thing, the very category and class of people that we are talking about, which is young people. It's not an individual contest. It's the faces and the nameless who form a part of a class of people that we always often miss. So just understand that. So having said that, I just want to take the time to say that with all that is going on, here's the reality. Children, whether they know it or not, youthful exuberance is wasted on the youth. They think they have all the time in the world. And not everybody have parents like Matthew Knowles and Joe Jackson and Mr. Williams and the Braxtons, mommy and daddy. And I can go on, who figure out the talent of their children from they were young, and like Will Smith did with his kids, and put them in the wheel so that they can perfect their craft from as young as they are, right? So I just want to say that in the absence of that, we have a duty to the future of our nation to ensure that we protect our children, guide them in the ways when they make mistakes. The purpose of child diversion is to ensure that when each and every child reaches the age of 18, they start adult life with a clean slate. Not to punish them and treat them, confuse them when they find themselves in conduct that they want to say is unbecoming. They'll go in professions and here their conduct is unbecoming, and they're in school and they don't even have a profession. They don't even have a toothbrush to their name, and is being told that their conduct is less than becoming and they should be punished and expelled and suspended. So I'm just letting people know that is where we're looking at, because at the same time, these are the same people who are going to become adults. These are the same people that they were 17 yesterday, they turned 18, and then they show up at one of the camps, and they're the same ones who are going to be able to they're going to be able to go straight into what they call it, the police force, without the necessary discussions, public awareness, and mentorship required for them to perfect, improve their internal locus of control, making decisions that require mature consideration. Even thinking, thinking is a process that can be developed, because thinking is one thing, critical thinking is the next. So there are stages and levels to what needs to be done that oftentimes people don't know or appreciate. So that is just my take on the entire situation. I'm hoping that as we continue to have these conversations, then the why the drawing behind you trying to talk. Somebody's completely they really like my photo. But anyway, that my art, I should say, my drawing. But I think that it's important for us to continue to have conversations about how we want to improve the lives of the next generation, and also, be mindful that we're not going to always agree on issues. We're not a part of nation building and building back better, and building for the people, building, including whatever we're building is for the people, including the least among us in everything. I asked a question, sir. I'm not seeing the question, so I don't know how to highlight that. But if you ask a question, I'm not seeing it. So yes, I study I sat like it's a poet. Yeah, but that's it. I'm encouraging people to stay in the know, understand current affairs. Don't listen to sound bites, and let us try to increase the family structure, improve community as a means to encourage nation building. That is where I think we are now in life. And once we understand that, we're good. All right, so Dr. Financially Flamboyant is asking a question, and I haven't seen it. And then they shake their head. I'm trying to answer the question while we're live, so go ahead with the question again. Type it now so I can respond. All right, so in the meantime, what support do you have in Jamaica for special needs children? I'm not the government, so I'm not the best person to ask that question. It is a good question. So let us know, take the final minutes to tell you. So as the member of parliament for Portland Eastern, there has been several initiatives, I should say, that has been taking place in the space. And it's always good to share some of the new happenings in the space. And one of those things is the market, and the conversation to be had about the market. And it's interesting because having the conversation about the market, let me explain something to you. I saw a comment where a lady just started to speak about GIS and was like, oh, what's your point? GIS says that the market is going to be rebuilt. The Musgrave market in Port Antonio is going to be rebuilt. And the one in West Portland is already built. So why are you talking about the market? And GIS this and GIS that? And I'm saying, we oftentimes politicize everything, and it comes from a place with zero understanding. So the Musgrave market was burnt down in 2023. it has not been improved, and the persons have been displaced for the last 3 years. What has happened now is that persons have come into Port Antonio and they are selling produce, competing on a Friday with the Musgrave market. The simple question is, do we strike the balance? Because the market experience and market life is one of convenience for the consumer. But at the same time, you can't have people paying for space in a market that is damaged and not fit for proper usage, for lack of a better word, and then having persons outside the market where people just want to get away from the hustle and bustle and do what they're doing. And then the people on the pavers and on the street are getting all the customers, and then you're in the market hoping somebody will come in, and traffic is diverted. So the economy suffers like that, and produce will go bad. We have to strike the balance. I think that's what this was about. So check it out.
So you see, when I go market, when I cook my ital stew, I buy my cabbage, $250. So I take that one here. I am a kind of member of parliament for Portland Eastern, and we're at the Bayshore Plaza where they have the pop-up farmers market right here in Brownbrook. And as you can see, you know, you always support the cause. And that don't mean that I'm going to the Musgrave market, you know, because it's Friday. So you have to get your produce and thing, and that's what we're doing right now. So let me tell you something, the more the merrier, because health is wealth. So you eat and make sure you're all right and you eat healthy. Blessings.
I'm talking to my sweet up MP. My sister, say hi.
Hey, how you doing? Look, she frightened over the orange. You say, you know, if I catch a PNP them, she had pick out the orange. Watch her pick out the orange bell pepper. We are now at the Musgrave market. It's just to check a comparison because people are in the Musgrave market and are waiting on the upgrade to the Musgrave market, so the market can be centralized. Not against the farmers market, but to appreciate that when we have the farmers market on the most significant day for market, it can create a problem. So there has to be a little bit more coordination to make sure that persons aren't disenfranchised. So I'm looking into it. I know that, you know, we don't want to create a problem by trying to fix another. So where solutions is concerned, we have to be coordinated and connect the dots. So watch your ride. Problem solving in process.
Yes, so again, that is some of the things that's happening in terms of in Portland Eastern, checking out and advocating for improvement of the Musgrave market. The economy is you tend to realize that the local economy is going to be more important than anything in terms of surviving, given the realities externally. The war will trickle down so bad that even the sale of condoms is affected by the war. Everything. So people think, say, gas, that somebody will talk about gas. I mean, I don't care, some in a business. Well, it's going to affect your food. Your food is your sustenance. Your food is your wealth. So health is wealth. Food is wealth. Food security is affected by all areas. So Jamaica is dependent on first world countries to survive. We depend on tourism. If fuel gets higher, plane tickets will get higher. People will find it difficult. They're telling you to work at home, work from home. If you're working from home in America and working from home in Europe and working from home in Jamaica, it means people not gonna travel. Everybody are gonna stay home. And so pretty soon we go back to the COVID realities where we will be just surviving and scarce resources become scarcer. And so we have to improve all spaces and ensure that all areas and facets of life and even the economy is functioning so that persons aren't left out. That is just the real reality. The other thing that I wanted to share is, let me find it. If it comes up, let me see it. Yeah. Yes, so yeah, this is
I am Buchanan, Member of Parliament for Portland Eastern, standing in the Fellowship Division, in particular Port Antonio High, the Fellowship Campus. As you can see, I'm standing right by a riverbank, and I will say this to you, the National Education Trust is doing some protection work to ensure that the school is not consumed by the eroding bank. And so a gabion basket will be constructed to ensure that the school is protected. As you can see, if we want to call it climate change, just natural disasters, erosion from nature, we have to do some protection, and that's what's happening right now at Port Antonio High. So watch the ride. We'll keep you updated.
right. So again, just showed you about food security, and now we're talking about climate change, and we're talking about protecting our environment. That was a conversation that we were having when the NARA legislation was argued this week. An entire legislation brought to Parliament speaking about reconstruction and resilience and no definition of resilience. What is the expectation when legislation is wholly inadequate but wants to be passed to do what? If it's not achieving its object and purpose, then we are failing. I'm just going to say that climate change has caused the rivers to rise whenever the change in flow, even construction would have changed the environment in such a way, and we find ourselves having to be preserving and protecting institutions, buildings that's affected by just the natural environment. And a part of reconstruction and resilience is looking forward to ensure that we are protecting what is the future of this country at different places and different areas, whether it be Portland Eastern or whether it be all the way in the West. So just inviting persons to pay attention to all that is happening. And again, the diaspora is one of the biggest contributors to the improvement of the economy, the recovery efforts in Jamaica post Melissa. I'm going to always shout out to the diaspora because they have been the biggest supporting bringing any form of assistance to Portland Eastern. So big up you if you are one of them. And this has been Context Matters for April 23rd, 2026. I'm going to see you guys next week, and current affairs will dictate what we talk about next week. So see you then. Take it easy.
It took some time to understand, yeah, just what it takes to be a man. Now it seems each day you learn something to make a better way. Not growing up ain't just a phase, it's reality. And sometimes it's hard to face the world with your head screwed on. But in time you will see it comes naturally, like the hurt and the pain. It's a part of the game. It's all all in life. Gotta keep your head up and keep it stride. No time to be living a lie. You can make it if you try. No, I heard them say life much better, you live it your own way. But if you need a helping hand, just call on me, I will be your friend. And when it gets hard to face the world with your head screwed on, just tell yourself you can. And that's when you'll understand that the hurt and the pain, it's a part of the game. It's all a part of life, to laugh and to cry. That's right, it's all in life. Gotta keep your head up and keep your stride. No time for living a lie. Gotta keep it moving till you get it right. That's right, it's all in life. Gotta keep your head up and keep your stride. No time to be living a lie. You can make it if you try. You gotta keep on moving on. Don't let no one stand in your way. Gotta keep on pressing on. As we pray for better days, keep it moving. Moving to the next. When they try to bring you down, we gotta take it. Take it to the next level when they come around. That's right, it's all in life. Gotta keep your head up and keep your stride. No time for living a lie. Gotta keep it moving till you get it right. That's right, it's all in life. Gotta keep your head up and keep your stride. No time to be living a lie. You can make it if you try. Just keep your head up, yeah. Just keep your head up, yeah. Gotta keep your head up, yeah. 'Cause everything's gonna be alright.
Keep your head up. Keep your head up. Keep your head up.
'Cause everything's gonna be alright.
'Cause everything's gonna be alright.
True love is what she got me feeling. Yeah, it's not like me. It's not like me to fall in love on the first night. I'm in love now. But it's alright. They say once bitten, twice shy. But I don't mind getting bitten by you a second time. 'Cause you're so fly. And I don't mind kicking off my shoes to relaxing on mine with you. There's something so amazing about you. Can't put my finger on, but I know that you're so unforgettable to me. Come rock with me, come rock with me, rock with me till the sun goes through. I wrote a song for you. I wanna see you move your body. Move your body now. Break it down till the sun goes through. You're the only one. Hey girl, I forgot to mention, I love the way you play your position. Your body is a perfect invention, like you were made for me. I love it when I see you smile. You should do it all the time. I can't get you off my mind. Oh baby, I don't mind staying home just to chill with you. 'Cause you're beautiful. There's something so cosmical about you that I can't explain. But girl, your love stays on my brain. So come rock with me, come rock with me, rock with me till the sun goes through. I wrote a song for you. I wanna see you move your body. Move your body now. Break it down till the sun goes through. If you care for me like I care for you, there's nothing that we cannot do. You're my sunshine, that's what you are. And if you live for me like I live for you, there's nothing that we have to prove. You're my sunshine, sunshine.